Well, this week's discussion stressed the importance of soils for the SDGs, and you are all fully right. Soils are explicitly addressed several times in the current proposals of the SDG. Equally important, they play an implicit role for achieving a wide range of goals and targets, and this is most obvious for the targets on poverty and food security. The same is the case when it comes to water, to climate, to biodiversity issues. Or to put it in a nutshell, soils are key for achieving the SDGs due to their cross-cutting character, as we heard several times already during your contributions. Nevertheless, soils and the SDGs are surely not partners by default. And why is that so? Simply because during the implementation, there's a high risk ending up in silos. That does not only refer to disciplines or to people or stakeholder groups, but in particular also to institutions, to organizations like the UN organizations. And we have to overcome the silo mentality, during the implementation process. This is a very important aspect I want to mention here. The awareness of the cross-cutting character of soils is still low. We all know that, and we heard about that. What does that mean for the way forward? First, of course, awareness raising has to remain on top of the to-do list. For us, it is obvious, but for many people, the implicit interlinkages between soils and, for example, poverty are not obvious. However, it becomes striking once you explain that 75% of the world's poorest people live in rural areas, and those 1.4 billion people depend on fertile soils for agricultural activities to safeguard their mere existence. 50% of hungry people are farming families. Fostering soil fertility on their land is vital to tackle poverty and hunger. Moreover, the choice of indicators will be crucial for the success of the SDGs. We need soil-related indicators that have a cross-cutting character, and this will make them more relevant and more visible. During the last 3 days, various possible indicators have been discussed. Changes in soil organic carbon seems one promising possible indicator, as it is important for several aspects. It's important for soil fertility, for biodiversity, soil water storage, and carbon sequestration. However, we need more evidence about that. We need also more science-based knowledge on the applicability of this indicator, and therefore the German Environment Agency is cooperating with Ratan Lal's team at The Ohio State University, and we want to sound out options if and how this indicator is applicable on a global level. In addition to global indicators, also national indicators are necessary to address region-specific soil threats. In Germany, for instance, of course, land consumption and soil sealing for housing and infrastructure are important issues. Vice versa, salinization obviously does not play a role in Germany, yet it certainly is a major soil threat in other regions. Finally, to put the SDGs successfully into practice, we also need an evaluation of existing policies. Accordingly, necessary measures need to be developed and comprehensively implemented. The cross-cutting character of soil issues is currently not adequately reflected in global and also in German policies, and therefore readjustments and even refocusing on existing policy will be required in the future. We, the German Environment Agency, are mandated by the German Environment Ministry to develop concrete recommendations on how this can be achieved. When developing national indicators and policy and measures, we also have to raise the question of what is our national responsibility in a globalized world. Does national environmental responsibility only refer to the environment within our national border? In fact, it is necessary to take into account all environmental impacts of our activities, no matter where they take place in a globalized world. And the idea that negative environmental cross-border effects need to be addressed is not really new. For instance, the EU Renewable Energy Directive for biofuels includes sustainability criteria, such as avoiding biofuel production on freshly converted forest land. We should think about further developing this approach. We should also consider applying such sustainability criteria for agricultural commodities in general. It could also mean complementing the approach by including further criteria on sustainable land and soil management. We should, in this context, not only consider biodiversity or carbon footprints, but also further environmental and societal criteria. Having said this, it's evident that our work does not end once the SDGs have been adopted. The end of the negotiations of the SDGs mark the starting point for the implementation. Sound scientific knowledge and a participatory approach are vital to successfully put the SDGs into practice. And it's now time to start walking the talk. And to make this concrete for the national implementation, let me end with a warm invitation for the World Soils Day. That is on the 3rd December. We will host an event on soils and the implementation of the SDGs in Germany. This event will create a dialogue platform, and a wide range of stakeholders and policymakers will take part, and it will be also open to the public. So therefore, let me already now warmly invite you to participate. Thank you for your attention.